Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Sketchup class presented by me, Firestarter Graphics Engine and Engineering. So today, this is what we're going to discuss. We're going to go over our first solids. Yes, this is kind of baby food when it comes to SketchUp. You guys are still learning, so we're going to take it nice and easy. Today's part is going to go over quite a few things, so let's see what those are. So, in this lesson, we're going to talk about basic modeling, components and solids, the Dave method, modeling in meters, and then scaling to inches. And we're also going to be using our first solid to cut a hole at an angle of, I think it's 35 degrees, but let's check the drawing. Okay, so this is the block that we are going to be making. Everything in here is done in millimeters. The only reason why I say that is because there's no way we're gonna have something that's 72 inches. I mean, you could. Maybe this is a lathe, an end of a lathe that holds logs in order for them to be spun. So there's a lot of things that this could be, but for all intents and purposes, this is going to be done in millimeters. However, we're going to draw in meters and then just scale down at the end. So I'm going to show you guys how to machine this face right here, which is right here in the isometric view, and this hole, and how we're going to make this hole right here, which is the center line of that hole is at 35 degrees off of this horizontal line. So let's go ahead and begin with just making, there's two ways we can do this. We can make a profile right here, this base profile, extrude it up, and then make this part extruded up and then cut things out. Or we can draw this kind of L shape right here, and then just add other features such as this cutout and this breakout right here. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll just make the L shape and go from there. So let's go ahead and open up SketchUp. Please forgive this. I was just messing around with something yesterday. In fact, you know what? This is actually a good time to go over this. Okay. Let's go back to the beginning. I have this cylindrical, no, it's not even cylinder yet, this circle shape. I'm going to push it up to right here. This is extra to the class, but this is very helpful information. So now what we want to do is I'm just going to place a circle right here. Now let's say I wanted to rotate this circle and copy it multiple times around. So we have a couple ways of doing that. First, you know that 360 degrees is in a circle. So if you want to evenly distribute it, let's say 9 times, you would just say 360 divided by 9. Remember that number, and then just remember that degree number. So I'll show you what I mean. This is the harder way of doing it. So let's say 360 divided by 9. I should know that. I just don't want to. It's 40 degrees. I knew that. It's 36 divided by 9. So every 40 degrees, we're going to have this being rotated. So select the object, rotate right here on the axis, go straight up right here. Hold Control after your second click, and then you can see how it's rotating. If you read down here, this shows us our angle. So we're going to say 40 degrees, hit Enter, and then you're going to hit X for multiply, and we're going to hit 9, and then it copies it. So that's a fancy way of doing it. However, the other way is click here, whoops, make sure you have your circle selected, click this, then click here, then click here, hold Control before the rotation, and then you're going to type in 360 degrees, hit Enter. Looks like nothing has happened, but that's not true. There's actually one on top of that other circle. Then you're going to hit divided by 9. and it will equally space 9 circles. From there, push pull one through like that. Then all you have to do is just double click each one. And look at that. We've got that nifty shape. Anyway, perfect. So, without any further ado, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of these lines, and let's actually start what we need to draw. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in right here. Let's actually see what our measurements are. So it's 145 by 90, and then 36. So 145 by 90 and then 36. So let's get into the front view. Hit L for line. 145. Control Shift E to zoom extents, and we're going to go up 90. Control Shift E for another zoom extents, and then we're going to go over 36. Then if I remember correctly, this was up 25. Okay, and let's just double check that. Yes, up 25, and then just over to infer with that line. So hold right here and then just drop straight down. Okay, great. Now we have our sketch. So let's go ahead and now we need to extrude it 72. Okay, notice how this side is gray, this side is white. It means our faces have been reversed. Well, actually, it hasn't been reversed. This is just the back side, this is just the other side. So 72. Perfect. Okay, now everything looks great. That is going to be important. So if I'm going to triple click everything, I want to show you what I mean by reverse faces. If I go to reverse faces, see how everything's gray? The insides are now the outsides, and the outsides are now the insides. This is not good. You always want it to be white on the outside. Okay, so what's next? Let's go ahead and create this slot. It's going to be 50 to the center point. It's 24 wide, and it's 24 here, 24 here. So, okay, everything's just divided up in 24ths. So, tape measure, grab the edge, type in 24. Grab this one, type in 24. That makes our slots exactly where they need to be. We said it was 50 to the center point, so 50. Okay, now all we need to do is line to here, make a box, and grab the arc tool, hit A for arc. Notice right here it says 12 sides. I'm going to make it 48. Just makes it a little bit smoother on the cut. Click here, and then until it gets to a half circle. So right there. Okay, hit E to get rid of that. E for eraser, and we're just going to bring it straight on down. So now if you ever want to get rid of these lines, grab the eraser, go down here to instructor, and it will tell you what the modifier keys are. Control is equal to soften and smooth the entity. So hold control. Boom. Look at that. So that way it doesn't erase anything, it just hides them. So okay, let's do this part. This can be a little tricky. It takes me a few minutes to get it correct. So we know from here to here is going to be 50. From front to back is 50. So can I grab this line and go 50? Yes, I can. And we're going to have a line that goes from here to right there, intersection. Make sure it's actually on there. It is. Okay, so, and then we also go from here to there, and from here to here. Okay. Then let's see what happens. And then you just erase. Don't use the push-pull tool, just erase the lines. Okay, so that machined piece has been created. So far pretty simple, right? This is a very simple part. It's just an introduction to solids. So, next let's cut out this feature. Alright, we have in the center that's midpoint and 48 up. We're going to have this circle that is 12 millimeters in radius, and it's through. So let's do that. 48 up from the front. So 48. Let's double check that. Okay, correct. 48, and then we need to put this right here in the midpoint. Okay, C for circle. I like more than 24 sides, especially if I'm going to 3D print. I'm going to do 48. So make sure it's right there, and we said 12. Let's punch a hole through. It wasn't deep enough. I thought it would have been. By just double clicking, it would have remembered the depth of the other. Okay, so that's good. Let's create this other face. So we have a radius of 30 from the same center point, and then now it would just be creating these lines. So we'll try and infer. Let's see. We have a rectangle, which is this piece right here. If we follow it straight through, that is 24 from the top. Okay. And we just need to find out how wide it is. And the other one is, it's hard to see, but I think from here to here is 30. So 24 and 30. So, escape. Grab that, drop it down, 24 millimeters. Then we're going up 30. Okay, that looks right. So let's make a rectangle. Nope, let's don't do a rectangle. We could. I want to show you what it would do. Actually, would that work? It would. It'd make things a little bit more complicated, especially when we're going to... But let's give it a shot. That's why we're here. So we're going to try it different ways. First, we need to know what the depth is. It's 12 millimeters is for the depth of this cut. So let's try this a couple ways. Let's just type in 12. Hit C for circle. We know it's a 15 millimeter radius. And that did not like that. Let me make sure. Where is it? Oh, wait, no, 30. I was right the first time. Okay. So, 30. Alright. So, it covers that up. So, let's go ahead, erase that line there, this line here, and let's push back. See how messy that gets? It's just going to be too crazy to do. So, the best way to do this is let's get rid of that rectangle. We can still have our circle. We could even do that circle last, but let's at least try this one. So 30. And we're going to sync it back. No, we're going to use our line tools, and we're going to come in right here. connect there, connect there, connect there, hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan over, shift, there we go, and there. Okay, so E to get rid of that, and we're going to drop this back by 12. And beautiful. There is that feature that's been cut. Okay. Let's go ahead and erase these lines. It is not needed anymore. Let's see. So we've done that. 12 deep. Oh, we need to do this bottom piece. It's 50 by 72 by 6. 50 by 72. So 72 along this way. So from here we just need to go 72. Right there, and 50 along this one. Okay, rectangle, intersection right there, and then you're just going to push it up by 6. E for eraser to get rid of these. Alright, so far so good. I like what we have here. Let's go back to our front view. Okay, last thing is this hole. So this can be a little tricky, but we know it has a diameter of 8, so radius of 4. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm just going to come over here, tape measure, and we're going to snap a guide to that. I'm going to hit C for circle. I want it in the blue axis, and we said we wanted it a radius of 4. Okay. Now, I'm going to pull this up. That looks like a good height. Okay, so what I'm going to do is triple click it, make component. I'm going to call it drill bit. Okay, I'm going to go up to our outliner. Shows that it's there. What group is this? Oh, I must have built something yesterday that I forgot about. Okay, let's rehide that. We're just going to keep it there. Okay. Now, we'll worry about grouping this one up later. So we just need a position where it needs to be. It needs to be 20 up and 12 over. So 20 and 12. So top view, tape measure, this was 12 and this one was 20. Okay, so our hole is going to go right here. So let's see how we can do this. So I'm going to triple click this, make component, and I'm going to call it main body. Okay. Now I'm going to use the move tool, and I'm going to bring this over here and just set it right on that component. Okay. What I'm going to do now is double click inside this component, and I'm going to put a line. Oh, come on. Right here. And the reason why I want that line is so I can put a guide right there. Actually, I want to move that guide to the edge. I want to remove that line. I want to move a guide to the center. There we go. Okay. Now, let's do the same thing here. along the red axis. That. Tape measure E for erase that. Whoops. Control Z that. That does not look like the center to me, but it is. So, nope, it's not. Okay, there we go. Now click outside of the component, and this should be, and the reason why I do that is because now anytime I move that, look, those guides move. Okay, now I have a place. I want to get this middle point to snap. Okay, so use the move tool, click here, and hit the up arrow to get it down. Now it'll say on face. Okay, use the move tool again to just drag it over right there until you intersect it. Okay, then click the center again, hit up, and you're going to move it up just a little bit. I think that should be good. Maybe we'll do it a little bit more. Click the center, hit the up arrow, bring it up. Okay, now what we need to do is rotate it. Let's hit the Xray button first, make sure everything's good. Okay. Now we're going to hit the rotate, and we want to rotate it along the red side. So hit the right arrow, click there, make sure you have that green line, and okay, type in 35. Perfect. Now you'll notice it's like way out of here. So we want Xray, and let's see if we could get a line to go through the center of this. Move tool right there until it snaps. I think that is center with center. Let's take Xray off, see how we did. We did way bad. Okay, I still think we did pretty bad. Okay, so all this guesswork, what we need to do is put a guide, a vertical guide right along the center. So let's use Xray again. Double click inside your component so we can edit it, and we're going to go straight down, right. That's fine. Click on there. Come on, show me the center right there. Okay, so now we have that line. Now, the only problem is you can't have a line within a solid. So we need to convert that line to a center line. Turn off Xray. If we click on that, notice it just says component. So I'm going to go into here, and it says stray edges 2. So I'm going to hit fix. Everything's shiny. But look, we still have okay, we need to move. This is the hardest part, I swear. Alright, drag it and then drop it right down the center. Then we're going to erase. Okay, so now we have a center line that we can use on X-ray mode. We're going to move, and we want to take this point and put it right there. Okay. Still didn't want to do it. I wonder why. I know why. Okay, we need to double click inside the component in order to get that guide to stay with it, because it keeps moving on us. Right there. Okay. Now, if I move this, that guide goes with. Okay. We're almost done, I promise. So, let's erase this one out of the way. Hit M. Take this line, and we're going to intersect it right there. And that, I hope, is center. Yes, it is. Okay, perfect. I know that took some time. Okay. Now, the last step. Let's get rid of our guides. Now, notice some of them won't disappear. That's because they're part of the component. So, if I were to hide this, they disappear. Unhide. Okay. We're going to use Enroth solid tools. We're going to use trim. We're going to trim this from that. And I think it did it. Shows a difference here. Whoops. I used the wrong ones. I don't want to use these ones. These ones are the regular solid tools from Sketchup. Notice how when it left the difference, it was in a group, not a component. We want this one. Trim this from that. Okay, now we're going to hide the drill bit. There we go. Let's get rid of these lines if we can. Oops. Okay, so that hole has now been drilled at 35 degrees. A perfect hole. So the hardest part, as you can tell, wasn't creating the rest of this, it was positioning that drill bit. So a recap of how we positioned it is draw your guidelines this way, and then get a vertical guideline. You can drag it from this axis. I should have done that first place. Just drag it from this axis and put it here. But the thing is, it could have been, so if I'm just going to try it. Yeah, see, it would not be in the right direction, and however I try it, it's just going to be painful. So the best way to do it is by turning on Xray, drawing a line down the center, and then making a guide that way. And from there, you're able to cut. So, congratulations guys, you just made your first solid. Now let's talk about exporting it for 3D printing. If you go up to File, first of all, you need to download something called Export STL. If you go to the extension warehouse, log in with an account. Up here, type in Export STL, and it will bring up the one you want to download. And then all you do is you go right here, Export STL. Export only current selection means if you have multiple models and you have one of them selected, because you don't want to export the entire thing, you just select this. I always keep it as millimeters, keep the file format as ASCII, and then you export it, and it will export it as an STL for 3D printing. Okay, so I think that is everything that we need to cover for this lecture. We'll talk about materials next time, and also rendering next time. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and have a great day, and good luck sketching.